Okay, I'm going to upgrade this area now. I was originally going to have it the same as it was before, which was simply having a secondary fridge in the centre there and the bedding tucked in around the edges. But the fridge that I've got installed in the van is more than adequate, so that's not needed here. Therefore, this area is just going to be for bedding. So looking at it, I'm thinking all the bedding packed in there, going to look a bit of an eyesore. So what I want to do is stick a couple of doors over. Now all that's going to incorporate is just 2 full fitting sliding doors, so that I can slide that way to get access, slide that way to get access. The simplest way of doing it is just to mill out a couple of runners, just the standard. You'd have seen them on old type furniture, 2 runners within a piece of wood, and the door just sits into it and slides around. I'll need them to go along the bottom and along the top. The doors will just be made out of some 9mm ply, obviously tapered at that edge there, square at this, same tapered at that edge there. The tape I've got up here will be taken up by the top runner, so the top of the doors are straight, otherwise we're going to get snagging when we're sliding in the runners. The doors then will be vinyled up, same as this is, couple of door handles on, and that's it, job done. So all we need to do now is take some measurements and then head up the workshop and start milling. Okay, I've cut a piece of stock timber, 1.5 meters, which is the length of the longest piece that I'm going to need. What I want to do first now is the entire width of the runners is going to be, I want 10mm spacings between each, so that'd be 30mm, front, back and centre, and then with 12mm twice. So if we give ourselves 55mm, we'll have enough to play with. So first thing we're going to do is rip it down its length at 55mm. Okay, now that I've got the stock ripped down to 55mm, that way I'm going to leave as it is, and I'm going to rebate both sides, one for the bottom and one for the top. Then I'll rip down the difference between them, remembering that the top one needs to form the shape of the top of the van, so that will give all the spare, and just rip the bottom one off the exact amount I want, and then scribe the top one back in the van. So to the router station, get it set up and get them things moved out. Okay, setting up the router bit now. I've chose a 12mm router bit, straight cutter, as you'll see is there. Reason for that is the timber, as I said, the sliding doors are going to be 9mm. I'm going to be putting a vinyl onto that, which is going to make it around 10.5mm, and I want a little bit of play range for it to go through. Now what I'm going to do is, with the runners, the top runner must be twice the depth of the bottom runner at least. This is so that you can slot the door in from the top and then let it drop down at the bottom, and they'll still have equal amount set into the slides. So the bottom side I'm going to set first at 10mm. Using this gauge, I just set the 10mm onto there, sliding this slider up and down, as you can see, until I've got it exactly where I want it to be. Lock it off, and a little magnet on the bottom there, I'll hold it nice and tight to my sole plate, and I'll slide the router up to it and then lock it off at that point. And there we have it, and that will give me a nice 10mm rebate in the timber. Okay, so we've got the depth set now. What we want to do is set the width of the cut. Now, as I said, we want a 10mm channel, a 12mm channel and a 10mm either side of it. So the first one from the body there, we want 22mm. Now here's another little jig for setting that up. All we do is slide that back until we've got it to the 22mm that we require, which is just there. You see the reading is taken from the bottom there, and that is how much gap it will leave there. So the 12mm plus the 10mm is the 22mm. Lock that off, Make sure your outer bit is square, set it in place and bring the table up to it. And lock it on. And that's perfect. Okay, let's mill the first one. Okay, now I've got all four done at the depth of 10mm. I want the top ones done again at 20mm. So I've done them once, now I'm going to reset it to 20mm and run one side through again. Okay, so there we have it. 20mm or just over for the top runners and 10mm for the bottom runners. And as you can see, the doors will fit in adequately. And once the vinyl's on, still enough space for them to slide around. Okay, now what I want to do is take off the bottom piece. That is the one with the shortest insets, i.e. the 10mm rebates there. I'm going to allow 10mm again at the bottom to give it some stability. The rest will be left at the top to scribe in to the top of the van. So, taking all that there, the rebate and what I need will be 20mm. The overall size, 70mm. Allowing 3mm for the cut, we want to set ourselves at 47mm. Set the table, 47mm. Okay, so there's the bottom runner. Bit of cleaning up to do, bit of sanding down, ready to go in. The top runner, we now want to scribe into the van. So I'll take that measurement, cut it to length, and then go to the van and scribe it to the type we want. Making sure I want to get rid of that knot, just a weak point. Now I put a slight chamfer there, just to allow for the shape of the side of the van. But the measurement I've taken is going to be for the shortest piece of it, which is 106. Okay, now I've scribed it along the line of the top of the van, like I said I was going to, and what I've noticed is it is coming well into the grooves that I've made for the doors to go into. But going back on it, we've got approximately about 1.5 inches at the end that's coming away from the back once I cut it. That shouldn't matter because we've got the rest of it to support it. But what I also noticed is the van itself needs it to camber that way. So I'm going to have to make the cut slightly tilted to allow for it. Now we're cutting through this way, so in order to get that camber that I want, I'm going to have to tilt the table like so. And that should be plenty enough. Now we have the rough shape. I check it with the van and then put the planer on it to get it all levelled up. Right. I sanded all the pieces down, checked them with the van, make sure it all fits. So now I'm just going to give them a quick dye over. It's just a light over, about the closest I can get to make this matching with the vinyl that it's going to go with. And once I've got this on, I can get on and make the doors. Okay, when I dry fitted the rails into the van, I measured the opening for it and it came to 435. Now, like I said, we need to go in at the top and in at the bottom 10mm. So we're going to add 20mm to that, giving us a 455. And there we have it, 455. So I've ripped this piece here down to the size we want. Now the length we want it is obviously going to be the size of the rails plus a bit of an overhang. But now what you will notice is that top and bottom rail are different sizes, and that's because the walls of the van slope. Rather than do all sorts of fancy measurements and such, what I'm going to do is cut them roughly at that angle, a little bit more than I need, and then put them into the van. And then when I've got them dry fit in the van, I'll scribe each door individually, lift it out and just trim it so that it fits snug. So the size we want, there to there, shove it to one end, save some waste, leave a little bit over on both of them, there and just get the centre point. Now we know this is 150, so if we get 75 there, a little bit over, so we'll give it 780 there, and that to there, and there should be the centre. Good, yes. Right, so there and there will be where we want it. And this side I'm going to give overhang extra to allow for the scribing and also for the bridging of the doors, because I want a good couple of inch bridging. So if we give ourselves about 5 inches there, and about 5 inches there, it gives us roughly the angle that we're looking at. We don't need to be anything precise at this point. And we'll rip that off there. Rip that off there, cut them into 2 pieces, and then we're ready to start scribing them into place because they'll be the right size nails, won't they? Right, that's it, purely just to close up the gap between the 2 boards, the 2 doors. Once we've got together, obviously I'm going to have the front door nearest the entrance, so when you're looking that way, you're not looking down that gap. But even when you're sitting down around the back, I've still got to see that 10mm gap, so I was just inserting that on the very edge there. I'll take it to count the rails, so what I need to do now is make sure I've got then 10mm off of there. So it's going to go up 20mm. So I want 10mm to clear the bottom, but I need 20mm to clear the top in order to get it in the first place. So 30mm off of it. Okay, right, first off, just a few points. What I had to do up here, I had a 10mm difference between that end and that end. And if I'd have taken the 10mm off of this, I'd have lost it from within the grooves. So I dropped the head cloth, packed some 10mm pieces behind there, which now has made it level. Once I screw it up, it pulls the carpet nice and tight to it. The other thing, we need to make sure they're square. Nothing around here is square, so to put squares on, levels, anything like that, it's not going to work. So what I did is all the sides are covered in cord carpet. Cord carpet is made of straight lines in the weaving. So I just drew in one of the straight lines from the centre of the bottom one, and that is where the centre of the top one's going to be. With the bottom one, as it's quite a nice snug fit, we've got a slight dip, so I'll put a little packer in between. Otherwise, again, the doors are going to be sloppy, or we're going to have a drag. So now I want to screw the base in. Good and solid. See how it pulls the carpet good and tight there? As you tighten it up. Okay, it's got a solid. We may have to do a little bit of adjustment that way, but we'll see when we come to it. going in from the back, first one being the front one. Yeah, we've got a little on it. No, wax up, that'll be alright. You can see that's not too bad either. If you can see that. And now for the other one. Right, slot it at the top, bring it across, and hit the bottom. There again. Not too much to take out. And his gap there's closed up nicely. Leave that. Right, I'll scribe that one, take it out, and then do that one. Okay, scribing tool. Simple pencil with a wheel on it. Many other wheels to go with it. That'll go on. And all it does, it rolls up and down like that, and the pencil itself presses in. Loadable from the bottom with a spring. You put on the different wheel for different amounts. Easiest way to tell is that is how much adjustment you're going to get on this one. If you need more from the centre, then put a bigger wheel on. That's more than enough. Aim it on so that on the biggest gap, the pen's just touching, the pencil's just touching, and then press in and running up and down. As you can see there, the line scribed. And do the other one. Again, not too bad at all. And when it comes to cutting then, they're probably both going to end up the same angle on the saw table, which will be good. Right, okay, back to the workshop, cut these and then get them vinyled, and then we can put them in. I'm only going to be turning over the back, sorry, the ends. I'm not going to be turning over the tops and bottoms because they'll just help to bind and thicken up the track line. and it's not going to need, you won't see the end anyway. Okay, that's one done. Now I'll just do the next. Okay, door's done. Let's get them into place. Put one first. Good enough. And the back one. Now, what I've done is top and bottom edges, I've rubbed them with the candle wax. That'll just help lubricate the joints a little bit, lubricate the slides, so they'll go in easily enough and run backwards and forwards without too much friction. Okay, put some handles on. There we go. Now ordinarily you would put stops in the runners to stop the doors actually smacking onto the other handles. But as I've got tops on a slope, I've positioned them so that it's hitting the top before it hits the door handle. Only just, but that's enough. And there we go. Now, as I made it out of leftover bits, that has actually cost me nothing to do. And in real time, it's taken me about 3.5 hours. So well worth doing and easily done in a weekend. Okay. That helps blend in a little bit better.